Oh, and Dear Diarrhea, Diary Full of Shit, just play along me, myself, and I, no one else. Yo, I'm so legit. I just thought of this when I had mentioned that ambulance text and how that only works for people who took an ambulance ride. I just thought of this. Number one, it's kind of a, like I said, it only works for people who took an ambulance ride. Or, um, people are going to think you're, maybe made a mistake, like, hey, this is going to affect my credit, or whatever. Um, Sort of a scare tactic thing. But they didn't mention that. They just sort of left it, for you to figure out. Because that's like, page two shit. Most people are probably just going to be like, yeah, well, I didn't take an ambulance ride. You got the wrong number. But then they do it consistently, which might be part of the tactic, you know. And then, like I said, there's people out there, who, don't recognize it as a scam, but are like, you got the wrong guy. But there's also people out there who might think, well, you know, if they do have the wrong guy, this could like wrongly affect my credit, or some shit, right? So it being a medical thing, that's the type of information where they would ask for your social security number to verify your identity. So versus like if it's you got an unpaid toll, pay it now or get a $5 fine every day until it's paid. It's like, yeah, that's a pretty effective scare tactic, but if you were to call them and be like, I got my credit card number ready, I'd like to pay that off, and they say, okay, we just need to verify your identity, what's your social security number, then most people are going to be like, yeah, you don't need that. But if it's medical information, then it seems like something that would be legitimate if they asked it. So anyway, I'm at 2 minutes in. I gotta let this ride out till 4, so Fascist Tube doesn't post it as a short. It's late in the day. I went to bed late, got up late, I guess. I turned my water heater down a little bit. I had it set at, the minimum, like I said, it was on the high end of like in the middle where factory settings. It's like the lowest it'll go is 90, highest is 150. Mine was at 125. So I set it at 140, but that's it's a little too hot because the way that my shower knob is set up is it's off is all the way to the right, and then on is to the left, and it gets hotter as you turn it more to the left, but it also builds more pressure. So in order to get decent water pressure, coming out of the shower head, you have to have it like at least, 3/4 to the left. But when I got it 3/4 to the left, as of right now, it's too hot, so I have to turn it down a little bit to where it's comfortable. But then the water pressure's low, and I don't like that. I'd rather have that water pressure higher. So I turned it down. I had it set probably at about 140, so I turned it down to about 135. We'll try that. So, and it's just, faggot, built, engineering. It used to be, I had an old shower where you would like pull the shower. You would either like in the gray house that I grew up in, you'd turn the knob all the way up. It was just like this big, wonky knob, and you just turn it up, and the water would start coming out of the like faucet, and then you'd pull a little lever up, and it would start coming out the shower head. And then hot and cold, you would just turn it to the left for hot, right for cold. But the water pressure was the same. So like in my case, if I wanted to take a cold shower, for health reasons, whatever, shock my system, I could do it, but the water pressure would be just at a trickle because it's faggot engineering. So, anyway, another knob that was common back in the day is you would pull the knob out. And then, like I said, the water would start coming out the faucet part, like if you wanted to fill the tub. And then you'd pull the knob up and it would start coming out the shower head. Now, the shower in my bedroom, off of the main bedroom, is a stand-up shower. It doesn't have the faucet part, with the knob. But You know what I'm saying, so, or maybe you don't if you're a younger listener listening in, like that mousy chick, who's like 22, who's like, oh, oh. Anyway, now I'm at 5 minutes, so that's good. So I just thought of that, Like I said, I'm me, I'm stupid. I just sort of blast over shit. And that's how I work, Give me a minute, I'll figure it out. It's just, if I'm doing an audio presentation sometimes, right at that moment, I either didn't think of it yet or am aware of it, but just blasted over it. Like when I had said, the water heater's not boiling. It's like, did you hear what you just said, dumbass? I'm not actually that much of an idiot. Yes, I'm an idiot, but not that much of an idiot. You know, but I just sort of say shit sometimes. So. Anyway, like I said, that's why I need a boo thing in my life. I'm looking for an envelope. Well, babe, it's probably going to be in the stationery aisle where the cards are at. I know you don't need a card, but you need an envelope for mail. They put cards in envelopes. It's probably in the stationery aisle, sweetie. What would you like for dinner? I'm going to suck your dick when we get home. Where would I be without you? Pretty girl, pretty girl. Right now, I'm going to go down to the stationery aisle and get some envelopes. If you want to push the card on down to the line and get in line, and then I'll meet you with the envelopes. So